So today I thought I'd talk about something that I've long wanted to make a video about, but a lot of people told me not to because it's gross. I wanted to talk to you about toilets and my toilet experiences around the world. Of course toilets are different all over the world, but the first time I ever really had a strange experience that seemed really weird and not like home, I went to Europe by myself when I was 18 at a random truck stop in Italy, in northern Italy. I went out to use the bathroom, and this is my first experience being charged to use the bathroom. It's such a weird concept for me. Obviously in Canada, sometimes you have to pay buying food or something from a store in order to use the bathroom, but I never had to actually go into a washroom and pay somebody that's sitting there handing you toilet paper. Strange experience, but clearly it's just because it's different from what I'm used to. And then I remember the first time I ever flew to Asia, flew to China, and I was a little bit jet lagged the first morning there. Went to a KFC because it was one of the only things open to get breakfast, and went into the washroom, and I was met with the Squatty Potty. I have come to love the Squatty Potty, but my first experience with it was like, what is this? Which way do I face? What am I doing? Didn't think to Google it before I went. But yeah, you're supposed to face towards the little dome thing and do your business. The interesting thing about this washroom though was that you squat down obviously in a Squatty Potty, but the door was like here and my butt cheeks are like here. So anyone that walked into the bathroom would have been like, oh, there's some white girl butt cheeks. Interesting. So since then, I've encountered the Squatty Potty many times. Fully embraced the Squatty Potty. It's so much better. North America, you're doing it wrong. And mostly in Asia. I've definitely encountered them in China and Taiwan when we were there. In Japan, which is kind of an interesting contrast between them being like the future of toilets with all the knobs and fancy doohickeys and butt squirts and sounds. And then you have the traditional Squatty Potty. Also, I remember in Laos, when I went there the first time, it being a little bit different in that a lot of the places, when you go into the washroom, sometimes you have to pay. They give you like a bucket of water, and you have to use that to both clean yourself up and to flush the toilet because there's not any plumbing. And I remember once specifically using a washroom, I can't remember where it was though, but in Laos, and it just being like a hole in the ground where you had to flush your business with this bucket. And my stomach wasn't doing particularly well, so it's like I have this tiny bucket of water to clean myself up and also to flush this all down. I've definitely encountered the Squatty Potty in Thailand. We took a train ride from Laos to Bangkok, and the train had a Squatty Potty, but it was actually pretty clean and nice, and it had a little like bidet function nozzle thing to clean up things with. We've also experienced Squatty Potty in Cambodia, obviously Malaysia as well, Myanmar on a most recent trip, and yeah, I've just become kind of accustomed to it. But I want to tell you about some specific weird toilet experiences. Number one being, on the journey I took from Beijing to Shanghai, back when I was there in 2010, you couldn't book train tickets outside the country, so once we arrived in China, I had to book a train ticket to get to Shanghai, which is no problem, but by that point they had sold out on everything but third class, so sit upright for 26 hours on a little wooden bench, and the train just gets more increasingly full and full. And the bathroom, if you are to use it, is just a hole down to the track, so you'd have to squat and do your business. But as the train got more filled up, people were sleeping in the bathroom, like all around where you would use the toilet. So your aim better be mighty strong. I never was brave enough or desperate enough. 26 hours was painful, but you make do. Second kind of awkward bathroom experience I've had while traveling was in Hong Kong. I used a public washroom in the middle of Kowloon Park, and this was in 2016. And I went into the bathroom, and there's no one in there. And I thought, okay, this is fine. There aren't any stalls. There's just like a row of these squatty potties. So I'm like, there's no one here. Okay, fine. Do my business. As I'm standing back up, this lady comes in and she goes, ha ha, and laughs in my face like I'm doing something really, really weird. Or maybe she's just never seen a butt that white. I'm not sure what. But I felt really awkward and ran out. And then in reminiscing about that experience in Hong Kong, when we went at the beginning of 2020, I had an additional awkward bathroom experience in Hong Kong. This was at the beginning of COVID, but Hong Kong had almost completely shut down. We were there on a stopover, and I went to use a washroom. After being in Myanmar for a couple of weeks, things weren't great with, you know, the systems. Using a squatty potty when you're in that desperate situation, yeah, almost got pink eye. I guess really in conclusion, like hygienically, I think that squatty potties make a lot more sense. Obviously there's no like direct contact. I am a huge fan now of squatty potties and they just make so much sense, especially in a public setting. I feel like they are probably more hygienic. And also if you've ever heard about this lovely thing called, have you ever watched the unicorn poop video? That tells you all about the reasons why squatty potties are superior. So if you haven't checked it out, you should probably check out the unicorn poop video because you will be sold on it, on the squatty potty after you watch that, guaranteed. Because unicorns can slay anything, right? It can be daunting, of course, doing something you're not used to, but honestly, trying the squatty potty was like, yeah, I can understand why it's so commonly used all over the world. And it's part of that experience of being somewhere else and, you know, experiencing a different culture. A very personal aspect of that culture. I hope that you go out there in the world and I hope that you try a squatty potty and then let me know how it went. I bet you it went better than it went for me. Yeah, let me know your shitty experiences. Take a look, camera.